911? I'd like to report an emergency. Michigan Representative Lisa McClain just owned CNN's Boris Sanchez so badly that he lost control of his show for 2 minutes, and, well, when he did regain his bearings, he forgot his own guest's name. Hurry up, I think this may be a third-degree burn. Let's take a look.
What you need to do is turn on the TV. Look at your show. It's nothing but fear-mongering. That's all the Democrats do. What's inflation doing? What's inflation? Up or down? Oh, it's down. What's the prices of eggs? Oh, they're down. What's the prices of mortgage? Oh, it's down, right? But we don't cover the positive things. We only cover the negative things to get everyone worked up. So here's two things. This could be a potential problem, but it actually could be a potential long-term solution. But when you don't want to cover the other half, and all you talk about is the one half, of course that's what you're going to hear. I would prefer to give both sides of the story. That's what real news people used to do, is they would give both sides of the story. So one side of the story is, yes, potentially on the short term, listen, tariffs could cause us some discomfort, no question. But let's take a look at the long term. Do you think there's any benefits to the long term? I can share with you that there are benefits to the long term if we can get this on a level playing field. And that's what we need to do. Instead of just getting everyone all ginned up about, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. Let's talk about the vision on what we're actually trying to do, which is reverse the negative course and put America on track to be respected again.
Chairwoman, thank you so much for joining us. I wish you would watch our show more often, because you would see that we do have both sides on. Specifically, that's why you're on the air today, to present that side. That's what we do here at CNN. Chairwoman Linda McClain, thank you so much for the time.
Lisa, thank you.
Lisa, my apologies.
You could tell he was very flustered. He tried to interject a few times and just could never get a word in. Now, that is a shorter version. That was the tail end of a 13-minute segment. And right before that clip, he actually accused Representative McClain of suggesting that Democrats are conspiring with CEOs to project these negative feelings about the economy. Now, she did suggest that a little bit, but he was really misrepresenting what she was saying. She was really making a point that Democrats are fear-mongering, which they are. We see that all the time, but he was turning it into some larger conspiracy. Now, even if she was suggesting that, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because we do know that the government oftentimes influences these major corporations. We saw it all the time when Joe Biden was president during COVID. We saw them clamping down on whatever they deemed to be misinformation. Even before the election, back when X used to be Twitter, they suppressed certain news stories that they didn't like. You know, social media companies or corporations too. So let's not act as if the government and politics is completely separated from business. It's not. They oftentimes have agendas, they work together, and sometimes, yes, they do share the same bed. Now, in addition to what we just saw, part of what makes that interaction so great actually goes back to, yes, President Trump, because for all of the reasons why President Trump is going to be remembered, I think one of the understated reasons that a lot of people probably feel but haven't quite put a name to is Trump has taught Republicans, Trump has taught conservatives how to fight back against the media, how to hold their ground, how to make sure that their point of view and their arguments cut through the walls and the gatekeeping that the media does. And that's exactly what she was doing. And she was right when she said that, you know, CNN doesn't always play both sides of the story. Now, Boris Sanchez appeared to suggest that, yeah, CNN has both sides on. And while that's true, you can see the difference in how they treat Democrats versus how they treat Republicans. As you could see with her, he was antagonistic, sort of demeaning. And yes, I know he lost his footing there towards the end, but the entire interview, he's really asking her to make her point and to defend her arguments and to defend the evidence that she brings up. Whereas whenever they bring on Democrats, it's a lot more friendly. It's a lot more, why did you do this? And why did you not do that? Or have you thought about this? It's very friendly. We see it especially during presidential election cycles. Whenever Donald Trump got out there, they would ask him to defend every last word that he said. In some cases, they asked him to defend things he said years ago. Whereas with Kamala Harris, it was like, What's your favorite Dorito? What's your favorite, with Joe Biden, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream? Like, there is a very clear difference. So yes, they can have people of both parties on the air, but we see through that. We see the not minor, but the subtle ways that they influence public perception. And thanks to Donald Trump, Republicans are now fighting back and really putting news anchors and hosts back on their heels. Well, Democrats are starting to get that treatment. It's starting to be a little bit more of an even playing field. So Hakeem Jeffries went on MSNBC, and they appeared to ask him a question that was unscripted. There are many times we've seen this, especially with Kamala Harris, where Democrats will go on news stations and they have the questions in advance. We see it during debates where questions that aren't supposed to be seen by anyone, Hillary Clinton, are shared with them by the debate moderator. Well, Hakeem Jeffries was asked a question, and even though he said there was nothing wrong with his audio, he was just stunned into silence, and MSNBC appeared to cover up for him and cut him off. Take a look at this and let me know what you think.
Because he's having trouble with a prosthetic leg or a prosthetic arm, or with Agent Orange or Burn syndrome. What would happen to those individuals specifically under the passage of the Republican bill? Hello?
Looks like we've lost.
I think we've lost the.
Hakeem Jeffries has lost audio. I would have loved to have heard that answer.
I would have loved to have heard it too, but we didn't because he didn't answer. Look, if he really was having audio issues, again, as someone who has worked as an actor, as someone who has done training videos, I have a lot of experience on professional sets, and I've worked with earpieces before as well. And oftentimes when you can't hear anything, you just say it, like, I can't hear it, or you're signaling to someone off screen like, hey, something's wrong with my audio. The way he was just looking ahead, blinking his eyes, suggests to me that he heard them the entire time, and when the question ended, he just didn't know what to say. Again, he could have said, hey, can you repeat the question, or I'm sorry, there's something wrong on my end, but there was just zero response. And not only was there no response, but the people over on MSNBC didn't even attempt to try to get an answer from him. They could have been like, hello, I mean, not literally waving on the camera, because I get it's national TV, but they could have repeated the question. They could have asked, hey, can you hear us? Is your audio fine? But instead, they jumped to a conclusion that something must have been wrong because he was just blinking his eyes. It appeared to me as if they were covering up for him. Am I reading too much into that, or do you agree? Let me know down in the comments below. Now, this has happened before, but the last time it happened was with Democrat governor from Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer, where she was asked, she was on CNN, they were talking about something, and she appeared to be taken off guard when all of a sudden they were asking her about Hunter Biden's cases, all of the legal challenges he was facing during the election last year. And, well, pay attention to her eye line, because I think that's really telling here.
I want to turn to a different, very different trial, and that is one that is going on in Delaware with the president's son, Hunter Biden. He is on trial for obtaining and possessing a firearm while under the influence of illegal drugs, which was against the law. Republican Lindsey Graham says that an average American would not have been prosecuted
Dana, are you
for
there?
this. Yes, Governor, can you hear me?
Did you just drop a beat?
Okay, it sounds like the governor can't hear me. You know what? We're going to take a very quick commercial break and get this fixed, and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Yeah, very awkward. With the phone call, is it possible that there actually were audio issues? Sure, very possible. And that's a lot of times I try to take things at surface level. Oftentimes, what you see or what the easiest answer is actually what happened. However, the timing's just a little too convenient, just a little too coincidental. And when it starts happening time and time and time again, and then when we know that the media covers up for the Democrats time and time and time again, it's hard not to get a little jaded. It's hard not to be a little pessimistic and have a sour view on what happened. So again, on both of those situations, what do you think? Do you think that they actually did lose sound and, hey, I'm just making too much out of it? Or do you think maybe something really is up? Well, speaking of up, J.D. Vance was up late last night. He went to a performance at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. with his wife, Usha Vance. They went out for a nice date night, but when they showed up, they were booed by, liberals, rich liberals who were attending. And come on, we all know they were liberals because Washington, D.C. voted 90% for Kamala Harris, and I believe even more so, 94%, I think, just off the top of my mind, for Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden. But this is what they did to the Vances.
Kill that light!
Just so heartwarming. The party of tolerance, the party of acceptance, you guys can no longer claim to be the party of diversity if you're not going to accept diversity of thought. It's one thing, and I say this all the time on my channel when it comes to people who disagree with me in the comments. I am fine with disagreements as long as we can talk civilly and respect each other and give our points of view. But what the left has done time and time again is they have demonized everyone right of center so much that they think they should be harassed. They think that it's okay if violence is taken out against them, against their property. In the cases of all these Tesla dealerships being burnt up, it's really sick what's happening. And again, like if we saw Barack Obama, for example, or Joe Biden or Hillary Clinton come to, I don't know, think of like Nashville, Tennessee. If they came to Nashville, Tennessee, went to a country music show, and the crowd started booing them, don't you think the media would be outraged? Don't you think the media, the Democrats, Hollywood would be saying, hey, look at all those racist hillbillies in Nashville, country music, booing the Democrats? It would be a national news story. Yet, J.D. Vance and his wife get booed by Democrats. No one blinks an eye, despite the fact that, again, their side is supposedly the side of tolerance. Yeah, just really sad. And I don't know if you heard it, but it sounded like someone in the crowd said or shouted, "Kill that vice." I listened to that a few times. I'm not sure if it's 100% on, but it sounded like a threat, which to me is really scary. But it's not just the way that the crowd behaved. It's the Kennedy Center in general, which I think has really disgraced themselves in response to the Trump administration. So according to the New York Times, Hamilton cancels Kennedy Center run over Trump's takeover. But it's not just Hamilton. Well, let me actually pull that up again. We're not going to be part of it while it is the Trump Kennedy Center, said the show's creator, Lin-Manuel Miranda. So that was the decision of the creator and not the Kennedy Center itself. But it takes two to tango. The Kennedy Center sure could have put up a fight and said, hey, no, we want you to perform here. We want you to support the arts. To me, it is so dumb to cancel a show because you disagree with the Trump administration. It would be like if PETA decided that they were going to burn down a dog kennel just because the owner was wearing leather shoes. Okay, cool, you made your point, but who's the one actually hurting the dogs? The left is claiming that Trump is hurting the arts, that Trump is hurting music and acting and just all sorts of arts education. But by canceling shows at the Kennedy Center, who's the one that's really hurting art and culture, entertainment, connection? Because that's what shows are. It is a community experience. And it can be a reflection of our times, of our history. It's a shared experience. And by canceling, these artists are not only throwing a temper tantrum, but they're also hurting themselves, they're hurting creators, and they're hurting our culture and community. But it's not just Hamilton. Over 26 shows have been canceled at the Kennedy Center. Now, to be fair, not all of these, as you can see, have been canceled because of Trump. Some of them have been canceled because of scheduling issues or because of low ticket sales. But I would, just eyeballing this, about 80% of them were canceled in response to just outrage at the Trump administration. Again, who are you really hurting? Are you hurting the Trump administration, or are you doing more harm to the community and the arts and the mission that you supposedly are all about? Again, for those of you who follow the channel, you know I'm a musician, you know that I'm an actor, and so for me, this hits really personally, because even if you disagree with the Trump administration, me speaking to artists right now, I think this would be the time to be making art, to be pouring yourself into art, to express yourself that way rather than expressing yourself in a violent way, such as torching Tesla dealerships or participating in racist or violent protests. Put yourself into the arts, apply yourselves, better yourselves, deepen your craft. Oh no, we're going to cancel it. It's a joke. And this really does hurt everyone in the artist community. It takes a lot of privilege to say, hey, we're going to cancel a show. Like someone like Lin-Manuel Miranda. I guarantee you he doesn't feel the pinch when he cancels shows. Sure, he may lose tens of thousands of dollars there, tens of thousands of dollars there. But for him, that's just a drop in the bucket. But what about the crew members? So according to The Hollywood Reporter, IATSE, which is the union president on canceled Kennedy Center shows, behind-the-scenes workers need to feed our families. So basically, the workers' union of stage and film, TV, they're all upset about this. Because it's not just the actors, it's not just the director, but you have people who do the wardrobe, you have people who do the lighting, you have people who do hair and makeup, you have people who are in charge of craft services, which is like food and snacks, you have people who clean up the theater, you have people who print the programs, there are so many moving pieces behind the stage. You have stagehands who take care of the props, who take care, I could go down the list. All of those people are affected and hurt by these snooty elite producers who are throwing temper tantrums and just saying, we're going to cancel everything. Again, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You are stepping on your own rake. And it's actors as well. So according to Decider, Kennedy Center cancels tour of acclaimed children's musical Finn. Actors Equity calls decision beyond appalling. Many of these people are young actors trying to get their career established. And now they're out of work. And as an actor, I can say the last 3 years have been difficult. I mean, it is March 14 as I'm recording this video. Like, we're almost a fourth of the way through 2025. I have not been on set once. I've been on set 0 days. It's been tough. Okay, we had COVID. No one worked during COVID except the A-listers. And then when COVID ended, it was still the A-listers working because what happened then? It was the writer's strike and there was the actor's strike. A double whammy back to back. And now that work's coming back up, people like me who are trying to work our way up the ladder, we've all been knocked down a rung. Because A-list actors are now taking smaller roles that they would have never... I could go on and on about this, but I think it is the height of hypocrisy and privilege for these people to be canceling these shows like this just because they disagree with the Trump administration. It reeks of privilege, and the funny thing is they don't see it. They claim to be for the common man, common woman, but what they're doing is hurting the common man and common woman. But as always, all of that is just my analysis and commentary. That is what's going on in the world of politics from my point of view, and I would love to hear from you. So again, going back to Hakeem Jeffries as well as Gretchen Whitmer, what do you think? Do you think that, hey, those were just unfortunate incidents as they were being interviewed on live TV, or were the networks trying to cover up for them not having an answer? Let me know what it appeared to you down in the comments below. Sort of my test for that is watching it with the sound off. What does it visually look like? What is the visual story if you don't have audio as a clue? And I think that also backs up my theory. But hey, if you disagree, totally cool. Again, I am fine with disagreements. As long as we can have a civil conversation, I respect your point of view, and I just ask that you respect mine. Now, in my last video, I asked everyone about the banners. A few of you said, Daniel, I have no idea what you're even talking about. So the banners I'm talking about, like right here on the bottom in yellow and black, like CNN Trainwreck, Hakeem Flees, Vance Food, and then up in the, I guess, everything's flipped for me. In your upper left-hand corner, it has my username, State of Daniel. And yes, some people have said, like, they have no idea what my name is. It is Daniel. Believe it or not, some people don't know. They think that, yes, State of Daniel is a play on the phrase state of denial. But people, yeah. But to confirm, for those of you who were asking the last two videos, it really is my name. But anyways, in my last video, I asked what everyone thought about it. Because I have been getting organic feedback, and I was like, hey, I'm just going to put this out there. I would say the feedback was pretty overwhelming. 70% of you like it, 30% of you don't like it. However, a lot of that 30% are longtime OG viewers. And so it's one of those things, as the channel grows and evolve, I really want to stay true to my roots, and I never want to get so slick and produced, and I never want to get out of touch. And I know it seems like a simple thing, but I guess the only reason I'm saying this all is because I want people to know that I hear you, and I hear people complaining about other content creators who don't really engage with their community or seem out of touch or just seem elitist or who seem like know-it-alls, and I never want to become like that. I never want to be perceived like that. And so I really want it to be a community. And so I think what I'm going to do is maybe during the weekday when it's like the official show and everything's prim and proper, like work, maybe I'll use the banners on weekdays. And then during the weekend shows, because everyone relaxes on the weekends, I'll do it like usual and have no banners and just be me in my living room. We'll play around with that. It's not set in stone. The channel is always, I don't have a set way to do things. I'm really blabbering now, so I'm going to stop myself. But that was sort of the findings from everyone's comments. So thank you for taking the time to leave your feedback and share it. If you haven't already, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. I know it's a simple thing to ask for, but it really does help me reach more viewers like you in the algorithm. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and to check out one of these videos.